do you guys think that hot girls are like these like alien creatures that are handed the world and their life is like, you know, prancing from one cloud to the next or something like that? Not the case at all, okay? I want to disabuse you of some notions. First of all, I used to live in Los Angeles, right? In Los Angeles, every third girl there wants to be an actress or a model, and every eighth one is actually hot and has some outside chance of doing it, okay? That said, most of those girls do not work as actresses or models. They're what we call slashers. I mentioned this term to you guys the other day, right? They're actress slash waitress, model slash barista, right? Instagram model slash sugar baby, like that kind of shit, right? That's what they are. They are not making it as models. Reason for that, do you know what modeling and acting pays? Pays fucking nothing. It pays nothing, unless you really make it. If you really make it, it pays something. But for 99% of working models, they make fuck all. They make nothing, okay? I dated a girl who was a working actress on like television shows and stuff like that, and some movies, like small, not like big Hollywood movies, but like small time movies and stuff like that. A lot of the roles she got paid maybe $1,000, $2,000, $500 for. Some of the extra work, maybe even less, okay? And it's not like she's doing these roles every single day. That's a few times a month, maybe she's making that. And that's like really, really, really successful as an actress, right? It's not Natalie Portman, like not that kind of successful, not A-list or anything like that, but that's very successful compared to the average one. That's you're actually getting booked. Most actresses are getting booked 1/100th or 1/1000th as much as her, or never, okay? So understand that, first of all. Understand modeling, same kind of thing. Models make fucking nothing, right? They make no money. It seems sort of glamorous, but that's about it, right? And it seems sort of glamorous when they're out. In their actual lives, it doesn't seem glamorous at all. So I was in Miami, picked up these two models, went home with them. There's one I liked more and was more into and had more vibe with, but I was literally getting walked home by two models. I was like, fuck, this might be a threesome, right? I might have a fucking model threesome. I was pretty excited about it. We got back to where they were staying. Notice I didn't say their place. Got back to where they were staying, and it was some dude's place. And basically he liked them and like was like friends with them, probably wanted to sleep with them, wished to get with them, whatever. He had evicted himself to the couch and was sleeping on the couch so they could sleep in his bedroom, right? But they were so we walk in and there's like dude snoring on the couch. We have to walk through the living room past him. We get to this bedroom, it's this tiny little bed, like that literally like isn't really even quite big enough for one person, right? And both of them sleep in the bed together, which sounds so sexy. These two models sleeping in bed together, oh, so sexy, right? And then their room is just a fucking disaster of just like clothes and garbage and just like pigsty, all right? So we walk in there and we get in there and I just like do the whole like, I'll just sleep over, it's a long walk back, etc., trying to like make something happen. But literally there's no way, even if they wanted to have sex, like we all wanted to have sex or something like that, it like almost couldn't happen because the noise would wake the dude in the living room, right? If you could try and pull her to the bathroom, but the bathroom is through the living room, so that's even weirder, right? So I ended up basically sleeping in a bed with these two models. I had one of them's elbow in my rib, the other one's foot on my forehead, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And I just basically just got up and was like, fuck this, I'm going home, I want to actually sleep tonight. This sucks. Okay.
Just pull them out of there straight away.
Because game's that easy, yes. In any case, yeah, right. So in any case, yeah, I mean, I stayed in touch with them. I messaged them later, that kind of shit. But yeah, it was they basically lived in squalor. They're basically like super poor, have nothing, and the things that they had, and this is the important thing, the things they had were due to the generosity of men, right? And that's a really interesting and fucked up way to live life, right? And that's kind of what I want to get to here. I call this like the treadmill of hot girls, okay? So a hot girl at age 18 has a very interesting choice. She can go work hard, pay a bunch of money, get an education, and try and make something of herself with her brain, or she can have money handed to her by dating guys or doing a hot girl job or something like that, right? Who do you think makes more money? A girl with a college education working some kind of office job, or a bartender with no education at a decent bar, not even a really high-end bar, but a decent bar? Bartender makes more money, right? Or a high-end waitress makes more money. Or you want to go even further with it? Bottle service girl, right? Especially in like...
University, sorry.
Huh?
College, you mean university?
Yes, I mean university, yeah. All right, so She can go to 4 years of school, work really hard, try and get a job, do something that's probably like much harder, less glamorous seeming, less fun, and make less money. And that's 4 years from now. Or she can just get the hot girl job and make the money right now. And in fact, even if she decides to go the college route, during that time, she probably has to make money somehow, or she may have to make money somehow. She may start doing the higher paying thing, and then she'll just quit because like, what the fuck's the point? Right? And at the time, it makes a lot of sense. At the time, you're like sitting there jealous of her. You're like the guy like slogging away through school, and you're like, fuck, I'm working so hard, and this girl's just making money. And you feel so jealous, right? And at that point, her life seems a lot easier. But what happens? What happens is, at that point, she's 18 or 21 or whatever. Every single year, she gets older. Every single year, it takes more to upkeep her beauty. Every single year, she's closer to a point where the guys are going to stop looking at her quite as much. Every single year, her income off of her appearance, instead of going up as you progress in your career, is going down, right? And so the girl feels like she has this like cliff at like 30 years old typically, right? And she's like, once I turn 30, I'm like, my life's over. I'm done. I'm dead. That's why girls are so like weird about their age. Does that make sense? Right? And they literally feel that way. But it's very hard because it's a trap. Because at every point along the way, the easier option is to try and make money off their looks. The easier point along the way is to try and be the hot girl for a living. But every single day they make that decision, they make it harder and harder, they get deeper and deeper. It's almost like a drug addict in a way, right? Where it's like it feels good each time they do it, and it seems like the right thing at the time, but every single time they do it, they just dig the hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and they make more and more that the pattern and way of their life, right? And then what's gonna happen is as they get older, as they're younger, they'll have turned down various guys, right? They're looking for like the perfect guy because they're having the world presented to them on a platter, right? And they're like, oh, this guy's rich, but he's not hot enough. Oh, this guy's hot, but he doesn't have his life together. And then every single passing year, they're looking at the guy that they're with and they're like, oh, he's a little worse than the guy I was with the previous year or something like that, right? Or they're like, oh, well, okay, cool. I've decided as soon as I meet a guy that's as good as that one guy before, I made a mistake. I'll settle down the next time. And then they never meet a guy that good again, oftentimes. I mean, sometimes they do, but oftentimes they don't. In any case, though, even if it's going well for them, they don't feel in control of their own lives a lot of times. Because if you are a businessman or whatever, you want to go make some money, what do? You go work harder, right? You're in your job, you want to make money, you go work harder, work smarter, get a promotion from your boss because you've done good work, that kind of stuff. Take on a side job. There's lots of ways that you can step up in life through your own efforts. For a hot girl, if she wants to make more money, what does she have to do? She has to go find some guy who will make more money for her. But so she's inherently dependent, inherently needy on some external factor. And for that reason, her life inherently feels out of control, right? Hot girl breaks up with her boyfriend. She didn't just have a breakup to go through. She has to figure out where her fucking meals are coming from now, oftentimes. She has to figure out like how she's gonna have a roof over her head because she just got kicked out of her apartment too, right? So this is the scenario that these girls are in. Right? And it's not ideal. Also, do you think that being attractive is free? That shit's expensive. Like being really, really attractive. You guys talk about the difference between 8s and 10s and you're talking about going to the gym and I said plastic surgery. I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding. Girl gets a pair of tits, that moves her up. Girl gets a nose job, that moves her up. Those kind of things, right? Girl does Botox. Girl does all these other things, right? That are unhealthy, risk of death even, right? In a certain small risk, but risk of death. And each and every time it's just maintaining the appearance. And that gets more and more expensive with time too. Right? It gets more expensive the more you do it too. You start doing plastic surgery, now you need plastic surgery to upkeep your plastic surgery. Right? It's just this like ongoing cycle. Right? I dated a girl who was in, I'm not gonna tell you who, but at one point was in, I think both Maxim and Cosmo have these lists of like 50 hottest in the world, 100 hottest in the world. She was on like both lists at one point. Okay? So she's hot girl. I dated her a few years after that, a few years after her like 100 hottest, 50 hottest, but she was still a very attractive girl. But so anyway, her cost to maintain her appearance per month was something like $5,000 a month for her appearance. That's in a month where she didn't get plastic surgery. Okay? And then there's the occasional big project. There's the occasional big project that costs a lot of money. Boob job, nose job, fillers, Botox. They really, really start to think of themselves not at cause in their life, but at effect. And like it makes them extremely needy towards other people and extremely like out of control in their life, and it's actually like kind of panic mode,
And he, like,
right?
kills himself.
So, in a sense, you guys think that, you know, you guys go try and get with this hot girl, and you think her life's so glamorous, so good, and you'd be lucky to get with her. In reality, if she could meet like a good, like successful, cool guy that will actually enhance her life, actually like get her on the right track in some ways, provide her some like stability and these kind of things in her life, how much of a benefit is that to her? Like, you think about like all the things, it'd be nice. It'd be like all the girls that made fun of me in high school, I can feel validated, right? She's like, I can like live, right? I can have like my shit handled and not worry about like how I'm gonna make it to like the next month, right? And not even just financially, just in terms of like stability and emotionally and all these different kinds of things, right? So if you, as a guy who does have a lot to offer, are willing to offer it to these girls, you're such a better option than what they get. Because what do they usually get? They get either guys that have financial resources, which these girls actually need, right? Because they're not providing their own a lot of times, right? They have financial resources, but they're really boring, really chody, and the girls actually hate them or even despise them, right? A lot of times they don't just like dislike them, they despise them. They are actually sickened by them, but they're with them because they need the money. They're with them because they have no choice, and they hate it. They hate their lives. They hate the guy they're fucking. They hate the guy they're spending time with, but it's the way they know to live. Or they're with really like attractive, like alpha male, like scummy guys that just ditch them left and right because they have tons of options, or that don't have any financial resources, and so they're leaving this girl in like a bad life situation because her life and money is determined by, you know, guys helping her out and stuff like that, right? So they're in this very bad spot. But if you, as a guy with his life together, actually are there for a girl, if you're a guy that's actually successful and emotionally relevant, right, you are such a fucking prize, and you are such a relief and a breath of fresh air and such a win for them, right? But I want you to understand that. I want you to understand these hot girls that you're like, oh my God, she's so hot, she must have the world on a platter. No, you'd be doing a lot more for them by being with them than they'd be doing for you, okay? Other thing I want to tell you is when you actually date a 10, it feels kind of cool. It feels good. It's nice. And you look at your girl and you're like, she's fucking hot. You like roll over next to her in bed and you're like, this ass is so firm and so nice, and it's great. It's wonderful. For about a month or two. After that, she's no longer the glorious, gorgeous, hot girl. She's just your girlfriend, which doesn't mean you still love her. In fact, you love her probably more, right? But she's no longer this alien creature. She's a human being with her flaws and her foibles and her particular personality quirks, just like any other one. And your life dating her is not really that different than when you're dating an 8, other than perhaps like a little bit more inconvenience and drama, right? So it's not really that big of a deal. And I'll tell you the moment for me. I was dating this like undisputable 10, right? I went with her to, I don't even like, first of all, I don't even like going out to eat. That's not my thing. I fucking, like, I prefer to order in and just like, I like good food, but I prefer to order in. I prefer to just eat at my convenience. I don't like waiting for a waiter to bring shit. I don't like waiting for I hate that shit. Maybe you like it, I don't, right? So anyway, I took her out on like for a fancy dinner just because like we'd been dating for a while. It was a nice thing I did for her. We walked into this really like exclusive, well not exclusive, it can't be exclusive as a sushi restaurant, but exclusive seeming like high-end posh sushi restaurant, right? We walk in there and I'm with my hot ass girlfriend. I look around and I see 3 or 4 other just absolutely devastatingly stunning girls. And for a second, I resented my girl. I looked at her, I was like, fuck, if you weren't here, I'd be talking to her, her, and her. In this moment, as much as you love the girl, she's not that fundamentally different than every other girl you dated. And yes, you love her, but you're also missing out on all this other stuff. And if you are a high value guy that's used to getting hot girls, that's used to having hot girls in your life, it is an opportunity cost, right? And it's a legitimate thing, right? So understand, not only are you bringing more to the table for her, but also understand, as much as it is nice to date a really hot girl, as much as it's nice to date a 10, and the first couple of times you do it, it's amazing. It's very validating. It's very good for your entitlement. It's great on those levels. But fundamentally, the relationship itself is not going to be that much better. Or the sex, to be fair, isn't even going to be that much better than if you're dating a girl that's like an 8 or a 9 or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And also, if you can get a girl of that caliber once, you can get another girl of that caliber as well. So it's not that you in any way, shape, or form need to be needy for her, and you need to realize your own value and that you're bringing a lot to the table, right? So that's very, very important. Got it? Got it. I'll tell you one other thing in terms of being high value. And this is a phrase called, or an idea called, borrow some abundance from your future. All right, here's how this goes. So there was a study in late 90s, I think, where they basically calculated Bill Gates' salary, right, what he was making, right? And they boiled it down, and he was the richest man in the world then. He's close to it now, and he's a lot richer now than he was then. But even in like pre-2000 or around 2000 or whatever, they calculated that his earnings were $300 a second. $300 a second. Think about that for a second, how much money that is. Okay? So what that means literally, to put it into perspective, if he had a wallet with $300 in it and he dropped it on the ground, it would not be worth his time to bend over and pick it up. Okay? That's how rich Bill Gates is. Okay? So that's his time. His time's worth $300 a second. So if he's going to spend time with a girl, it better be worth at least $300 a second to him, at least in terms of his personal enjoyment and whatever. Right? Or if he's going to spend time in a business meeting, same thing. It better be worth $300 a second. Okay? Now, here's the question for you, though. When Bill Gates was in the garage developing Microsoft, like creating it, what was his time worth then? $300 a second, in a way, right? Because he's building towards it, and because it's going to be worth $300 a second used here and a second used there, it's equivalent. It's worth the same amount. In fact, you could even argue that his time was worth more there because it's what created the $300 a second, and without that, it wouldn't have existed. Whereas if he wastes some time now that he's rich, it has less of a negative impact on him, right? So the point is, his time when he was becoming Bill Gates is the same as when he is Bill Gates, right? How does that relate to you guys? Each and every one of you guys is on this path. You're on a path to becoming the type of guy you want to be. You're on the path to becoming this guy who's super attractive to girls. You're on the path to becoming a guy who has the life he wants, who's successful in the ways you want to be successful, who walks the world the way you want to walk through the world, right? When you are that guy, how much abundance are you going to have with girls? How much are you going to be willing to screen girls and only go for the best, be willing to walk away as necessary? And how much are you going to have the willingness not to deal with a girl's bullshit and just move on to the next if you need to, right? You're going to have all those things. That's when you get there. Here's the question, though. If you're here and you're on your path there, what is your time worth now? How entitled can you be now, right? In theory, you should be just as entitled now as you'll be when you're that guy, because you're on the path to being that guy. And in fact, if anything, your time now is worth more. Your time now is even more important, right? So borrow some abundance, borrow some entitlement from your future, and start acting like you're already that guy, right? Be that guy, and it's going to come through in a lot of ways. Here's the catch. That only works if you're actually on the path. If you eat candy on your couch all day, every day, and watch bad TV, you're not on the path anymore. There's no future to borrow abundance from. Does that make sense? So don't borrow abundance from that future. You have to make damn sure you're on that path. Make damn sure you're taking the steps, doing the things you need to day in and day out to get yourself there. But if you are already that guy, right? Think about, just to kind of finalize this. So me when I was 18 years old and learning game versus me now. Right now, I'm massively abundant, right? Lots of girls, have my pick, get a girl when I need to, drop me in a city with knowing nothing, I'll have a girlfriend by the end of the day, and a good one at that, right? Pretty abundant. It's not bad. Me at 18, virgin, never been kissed. At least not intentionally. There's a story on that anyway, but anyway, whatever. But virgin, basically never been kissed, right? But once I decided that I was on this path, once I decided I will figure this out, there's no excuse, I'm taking action, and no matter what, I'm gonna find the mentors, I'm gonna find the resources, I'm gonna do it. From that moment, I should be just as abundant and just as entitled as I am now, because I'm on that path, right? But only because I'm on that path. And if anything, a girl meeting me along that path would have been better off than meeting me later on the path. Because if she meets me later on the path when I'm already entitled, she has her work cut out for her. The best is if she meets me while I'm growing on that path and we can actually develop a history, right? So she gets to get in on the ground floor and build something with me. That's the ideal, and that's what you are right now. You're that ideal guy in the making. You're the absolute perfect scenario for a girl. You're her opportunity to get with you now as you're becoming this high value guy, so that she can have the guy who she doesn't deserve, because there will be girls slightly better than her when you are that high value guy, but you already have a connection with her, and that may mean more. Does that make sense? So you are actually the ultimate prime man in every possible way, as long as two things. One, you know it and realize it, and 2, you stay on the fucking path. If you don't know it and realize it, you're not that. If you don't stay on the path, you're not that. But as long as you do, you are the guy that girl wants to be with. You are her 10 more than she's your 10.